Hello again, you extraordinary subscribers. Welcome back, everybody, to the Hemingway Land YouTube channel. Before we get to the properties this week, guys, I wanted to do a little bit of a rant. I don't mean to bore you or bother you with me complaining about things, but I will tell you that over the December break, something happened, and it's been stuck in my mind ever since because it's so absurd that I have to comment on it. And I didn't want to do this one first week back. Ease into the new year. Okay, but we've had a week now, so I'm going to talk about this. And specifically, I'm going to talk about it because there are people who come to this channel, people who buy land from us, specifically with the purpose of reselling the property. And they do this so they can make some money. And, you know, if you sell 10, 15, 20 properties over a period of like a year, year and a half, whatever, they're trying to squirrel away enough money that they can eventually exit their 9-to-5 job and start a career sort of professionally investing in real estate. Okay, so to those people, this little rant will be dedicated, and to the rest of you, hopefully it'll be amusing enough you can stick with me. If not, just scroll forward in the video. Anyway, so over the holiday, as I mentioned last week, I was getting caught up on my podcasts and various YouTube channels that I like to watch. And for the most part, throughout the year, I do not listen to real estate-related podcasts. Hemingway, why? Here's why, guys. Because these podcasts are mostly guys who grossly overstate their income. Notice I said guys. There's no women in the real estate industry going out in public grossly overstating their income. But there's a whole bunch of guys who are doing this in an effort to sell some sort of coaching program. Now, let me say here at the outset, I am not trying to sell a coaching program. Because, one, I am not so self-important as to think, yeah, pay me $50,000 and I'll teach you how to be just like me. No, number one. But number two, I'm too damn busy anyway, okay? I don't have time for this. I don't have time to, and I think really anybody who's actually running a business doesn't have time to teach other people how to, you know. The point is, that is why I don't generally check in on these podcasts. If in the course of a 52-week year, yes, something will be said on them. There'll be some rabbit pellet of wisdom that is worth listening to, worth applying to your own business. Sure, yes, that is true. But for the most part, it's a whole lot of people selling coaching programs. Well, anyway, over the holiday, I listened to one. It's hosted by an investor. I've actually dealt with this guy personally. I know he's legit. I know he's a legitimate investor. I know he's made not insignificant sums of money over the last 20 years investing in houses and now apparently land. He's doing that. I suspect a good deal of his income comes from offering coaching programs or bringing people on his podcast who do that sort of thing. But whatever the case, I know the guy is legit. All right. Well, anyway, he brings a guy on his podcast who, big surprise, is also offering a coaching program where if you pay him $50,000, literally $50,000, he will teach you how to be as successful as he is. Now, I won't say who the guy is. Okay. The sort of sales pitch within the video is, I am so successful, I netted, by the way, $800,000 flipping land in 10 months. Okay. Let me quickly say this, guys. If the podcast had then been spent with him talking about one ranch that he bought in January for $1 million and sold for $2 million in October, where after realtor commissions, he managed to walk away with an $800,000 profit and he netted $800,000, that would be completely believable. That would be believable. He, however, did not stick to any realm of reality in this podcast, and instead, he claimed the following. Number one, I have no staff. Nobody works for me. Okay, so you do all this yourself? Number two, I have only minor operating costs, negligible at best. We barely spend any money running the business. What? Wait, what? Okay. Not even on like postage? No, nothing? Okay. Next, I don't have a website. I don't sell land online. I don't even advertise it online. I only list properties with realtors. And here comes, this is the really absurd part, because realtors get the best photos anyway. What? What planet does that occur on? Next, my average deal nets me $40,000. Okay. And finally, and this is the good one, I work no more than 1 hour a day. Okay, so of these 5 or 6 statements, I can believe one of these. I can believe 2. I can maybe even strain credulity and believe 3 of these statements together. But I cannot believe all 5 or 6 of these statements at once. At once, I call monkey shines on this video and this guy. And it would have been nice if the professional investor, who I know has more than 7 brain cells to rub together and can do basic math in his head, I wish that he had stopped him at some point and kind of questioned some of these numbers. Now, of course, he's not going to do that because he's getting some sort of, kickback from this ridiculous coaching program this guy's offering. But like, why wouldn't you just call cut, stop the podcast and be like, hey, Jimmy, we'll pretend his name is Jimmy. Jimmy, can we retool this a little bit? Because you sound like a moron right now. You're making ridiculous statements. Can you scale that down a little bit and bring it more to reality? Can you do that? Anyway, so the point, and again, I'm not going to say who this is, but if you are one of the people who come to this channel, you buy properties from us because you're looking for, trying to do what I described earlier, which is trying to get out your 9-to-5 job and you're trying to make money in real estate. Again, I'm too busy. I got better things to do in my time. But if anybody would like to write an email to support@hemingwayland.com, hey, Hemingway, which one of these various programs or coaches do you believe, and who do you think is just absolutely full of swamp water? I will be glad. Oh, people, I will be very happy to respond with my uncensored thoughts on this, because you're getting the PG version right now, my uncensored thoughts. And I know some of you are thinking, hey, Hemingway, maybe you're just a little jealous. No, here's what it is, guys. If you're going to go on the internet and lie about things, okay, all right, that's the world of the internet, fine. But maybe don't be so obnoxious in the things that you're making up. Maybe concoct a reality that is somewhat believable, as opposed to what I just described this person saying, in the hour and a half, they were profiled. So, there we go, rant out of the way, wanted to get that off my chest. With all that said, people, 7.5 minutes in the video, special thanks to all our valued customers. We are about 11 days into the month. It's been a crazy busy month so far, guys. Sold a bunch of properties, as you will see here. So, in Taos County, sold some land to Blair, returning customer Doris, and returning customer Ken. Special thanks to all of those people. In Socorro County, sold some land to Andrew and returning customer Stevan and returning customer Marianne, who also bought land from us in Luna County. Special thanks to them. In Valencia County, sold some land to Jose and Amanda, Rob, some people call me Maurice, Andre, Matt, and Greg and Kaylin swooped in and bought that $40,000 10-acre property, really good property that we had in Vista Manzano Estates for longer than I care to say here on the YouTube channel. But it was a really good one, and I feel like everybody missed it because we've got 200 listings in Valencia, and that's why. But they swooped in, they bought it, they paid outside of escrow. We always like that. And in Torrance County, sold some land to Michael. Michael picked up one of our Estancia Ranchettes properties, one of the last remaining Estancia Ranchettes properties in our experiment we've been doing out there. And finally, guys, in Quay County, Albert and Vicky swooped in, placed a deposit on that big property out by the lake that we listed just last week. Special thanks to them. I will tell you guys, moving forward throughout the year, I'm not going to include people in special thanks who do the 500 deposits. I'm going to wait until we close escrow, until we have all the money, because there are way too many people who give us $500, and they're like, oh, did you want, all the money? I get paid on Friday, I can give you $200 then on a $40,000 property? No, we want all the money. Oh, I didn't know that. Did you read anything before you gave us money? So we'll table those special thanks until such a time. But you get the point, guys. A lot of great sales this past week. Special thanks to all those amazing people. Oh my God, guys, 10 minutes into the video. With all that said, going live on the website this week, guys, we are back again in Baboom, Quay County, with 2 new properties also out by Ute Lake State Park. These are a little bit larger than last week's properties and a little less expensive because they are not as close to the lake, but rather 1 block further south. And it should be noted, guys, these are adjacent lots which can be purchased individually or together. Let's go to the map. So both these properties are located just 20 minutes north of Tucumcari and just 3 minutes west of Logan, out here in the upscale residential region known as South Shores Village, just south of the lake. More specifically, these 2 lots are located here along Megan Drive, and both these properties have well-maintained roads, underground power, and telecom boxes, and fire hydrants, which of course means city water lines exist out here, which also means that the lot should be easier and more affordable to develop. And of course, let's not bury the headline, people. Even though they are 1 block further south of the lake, you will still experience spectacular views such as these from the home that you construct here. And of course, as we discussed in last week's video about this region, Ute Lake State Park is a great place to boat, fish, windsurf, jet ski, RV, camp, hike, picnic, or simply relax at. And of course, if water-based recreation is not your jam, we've also got the nearby 12 Shores Golf Club just 5 minutes away. Now, while we lean heavily on the drone footage for a few minutes here, people, let me quickly discuss what I did not cover in last week's video. So, neither property, the one from last week or the two from this week, seems to be part of a formal HOA. There doesn't seem to be any annual dues, and the covenants are very light. And normally, I mention these things as a way of saying that the land is largely without restriction, do whatever you want, so on and so forth. Well, we got some questions about this last week, so I want to take a moment to talk about it. The previous owner said there's no HOA or annual dues. The title company said there's no HOA or annual dues. There's certainly no online presence for an HOA, a website, a Facebook page, whatever, and yet, being as this is what I am calling an upscale neighborhood with some very nice homes all around, logic would dictate that someone is out there enforcing protective covenants. From the little bit of research we have been able to do on this, it seems like whatever rules are being enforced are done by the nearby town of Logan, or at the very least, it falls under their jurisdiction. Point being, despite these typical governing bodies and organizations not existing out here, these properties are not, let me say that again, are not being represented as recreational properties, meaning yes, there's a lake nearby and plenty of recreational activities to enjoy, but you should not purchase these with the intention of camping or RVing on the land itself. Though realistically, I don't know who's spending $30,000 to do such a thing, but the point is these properties have really only one use, and that is as residential land. And when we say residential, we mean as a second home, a vacation home. I think these are really great properties to use for potential Airbnb, etc. But overall, if you are looking to purchase these, it should be with the intention of building a home on it or as a buy and hold investment property. And we get a lot of questions here and about can I build this and can I build that. Strangely enough, we've gotten a lot of questions recently about teepees. No, you probably can't live out of a teepee out here. That said, if you've got a structure, it's being built up to code, and it's not a complete eyesore in the neighborhood, and if it doesn't affect other people's property values, then yes, you can probably build and live out of that here. Point being, people, in the absence of being able to point you to a formally enumerated set of regulations from an HOA, I would tell you that a little bit of common sense goes a long way. Moving on. Also going live on the site this week, we are back yet again in Taos County, everyone's favorite, Taos County, with 8 new lots, 1 in Ranchester, Taos, and 7 in Carson Estates, all of which you can live out of a TP on. And it should be noted, guys, that the first 7 listings are the standard quarter-acre lots, and the 8th is one of these unicorn rare collections of adjacent acreage, totaling 3/4 of an acre, hence making it easier to develop with a conventional well and a conventional septic. Of course, I would elaborate further, but if you've gotten this far in the video, there's a good chance the listing has already sold. That being said, we do have more in the pipeline coming in the weeks ahead. With all that said, going live on the website next week, people, we are back in New Mexico yet again, guys, with some new property up north in a really beautiful part of the state. I am always glad to have listings in. Close to a mountain, close to a lake, close to a museum. Where could it be? Tune in next week to find out. Until such a time, have a great 7 days, and we will see you back here in next week's video.